This event, like as the title suggests, it's called Stories Beyond the Tent. So we are going to be focusing on individualized stories of refugees who live there, of asylum seekers who live there. Of course, we're also going to be focusing a bit about the conditions in the camp because it is one of the worst camps in Europe. Couple of speakers who are currently in the process of making a documentary about it are going to be speaking about their film, but also how the camp has turned out to be after the EU-Turkey deal. So we will be focusing a bit of the conditions in the camp and of course talk more about the asylum seekers there. For example, I'm still in touch with them and you would never believe the conversations we have. It's not about, oh, I've lost my family, which is true, but we make fun of each other about the kind of music we listen to. He loves Justin Bieber and he hates Radiohead because he thinks it's too depressing. But that is the important part, that we need to see them as normal people, and when you see them that way, perhaps it's easier to empathize. Well, the idea behind the event started with I was in Greece last year for 2.5 weeks, and I was volunteering at the camp where we're going to be focusing on. It's called Moria, which is in the Greek island of Lesvos. I was part of the psychosocial team, so we were really in the camp, and you know, you see or you hear stories about the camp through media, but it's not the same thing. And I wanted to take that knowledge back and basically just communicate it to people over here. However, after that I started doing research in this topic, and after discussing it with people, we decided to make a proper event out of it. A few other volunteers who were working with me, they were interested to contribute, and then it just, what would have been a very small event now, I mean, we have about over 500 people interested on Facebook, so I think that's really good. But it's mainly to just talk about what happens in the camp and sort of humanize refugees and not just see them as people or as objects who are fleeing war, but as a collective object. They also have regular aspirations and ideas. So, well, broadly speaking, it was for people in Poland, people all over the world, because this event will be live streamed, to know more about what happens in a camp, and also for people who are undecided about the situation, because we're not here preaching anything, we're just giving facts about how it is in a camp. I invite you to the event Beyond the Tent, Stories from a Refugee Camp. This event will take place on Friday, the 27th of July, starting from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Zet Pe Te Krakòw. Yes, there's going to be a much larger event on October 26th. It will be for a whole day. It will be taking place at the Institute of Psychology, as we are co-hosts of the event. And it's going to be an event focusing on the entire process, starting with definitions, going on to speak about the mechanisms, of course, some psychological understanding of attitudes, and finally speaking about integration and how we can increase trust and pro-sociability. So we are going to have a lot of speakers. We are going to have hopefully some asylum seekers to give their own experiences, art exhibitions, photo exhibitions, and it's again going to be free. So still figuring out if we can have Polish subtitles or translations, but it might be possible. So I invite you to that. So.